Hey guys, welcome to today's idiot video. Now the video we're going to be covering today comes from Christopher Green from the YouTube channel AMTV, and it's titled, "You're a Monkey Living on a Pear." Now this video is going to be a long one and I'm going to be covering several topics, but before we get started I'd like to make a prediction and predict that this video will break my idiot record. So grab an abacus and let's begin.
Hey guys, Christopher Green, AMTV, alternative media television, hard hitting and in your face. You're a monkey. Yeah, that's right, you're a monkey. Ooh, 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 ooh.
And you're an idiot. So this is Christopher Green, and either he or someone at AMTV thought it wise to remove the original dumbass video before too many people got a chance to see it. However, unfortunately for them, I was able to snag a copy before it was removed. And because this may be one of the only original copies left of the video, I'm going to try to leave in as much of it as possible. So let's continue.
According to the scientists, you know, scientism, the religion of atheists.
Okay, so scientism and religion are similar, but they're also different.
Same, but different, but still same.
They are similar because they are both belief systems. However, scientism is the belief in the predictive models that science produces, and those models are based on empirical data. Whereas religion is a belief in ideas, with no empirical data to support them whatsoever. For instance, the creation story of the Bible is something that many religious fundamentalists believe to be factually accurate. However, God has never appeared or spoken to man, so who was there to witness and document the creation of the earth as described in the book of Genesis? Now let's take a look at the creation story according to science. For a long time, many mainstream scientists rejected the idea of the Big Bang Theory and the idea that the universe was expanding, including Einstein. It wasn't until astronomers like Hubble were able to provide overwhelming evidence to suggest that the universe was expanding before Einstein gave in to the theory. See, that's the difference between scientism and religion. In science, we gain a better understanding of the universe around us through experimentation, and we allow the data and evidence to drive our discoveries, whereas religion is completely based on social or non-scientific constructs. This is one of the main reasons why ancient civilizations varied so wildly across the planet in their gods, their beliefs, and their tribal practices. So while scientism and religion are both belief systems, they aren't the same. Christopher Green, you're an idiot.
You're a monkey. Yeah, you're no different from a monkey. You came from an ape. That's what they're telling us. In fact, there's a big story on Drudge Report today. There's a monkey skull that they allegedly found, and they say that that's where we came from.
That's funny, because monkeys aren't apes, you idiot. And while the human species is classified as a great ape, we aren't apes either. Human and apes are both animals, mammals, hominids, and primates. So we should share some of the same physiological properties between the two species. However, fossil evidence suggests that the human species broke away from our common ancestor with the ape species about 4 to 8 million years ago. Now, as far as your news article goes, the New York Post is not a reputable scientific source. It's an alternative media outlet that pushes agenda-based news. But this article was an interesting read, and I'll post a link in the description for those of you that want to check it out. The article talks about how the brain evolved independently in very early primate species, and since humans are primates, it could lead to a better understanding of how our oversized brains evolved into what it is today. However, the article does not say that the human species evolved from this specific extinct monkey species. Did you even read the article?
We're all monkeys. We're just a bunch of apes. And also, the scientific community says that we came from nothing.
You know you're dealing with an uneducated idiot when he says things like, "Science says we came from nothing." Because no, Christopher Green, that is not what the scientific consensus is.
That's right. There was a blob of goo. It's kind of just like this muck of mud. They don't know where it came from. It wasn't alive. It was just kind of this gooey sludge stuff. It exploded randomly. It's magical. It was magic.
Hold on. Are you talking about the creation of life on Earth, or are you talking about the Big Bang? Because if you're talking about the creation of life on Earth, you were kinda right until you said that your goo exploded magically everywhere. At that point, it was pretty evident that you were either talking about the Big Bang or a low-budget DVD that you would find at a truck stop. And nobody in science says that prior to our universe existing, there was a muddy goo that started it all. You're an idiot.
It exploded and created this vast cellular universe of planets and stars and all of these ecosystems that, by the way, are completely and unarguably intelligently designed.
Oh my God, you're such an idiot. Did you just say that the ecosystems across the universe were specifically designed for humans? By who? What mythical being benevolently designed all the absolute hostile environments that we see every time we look outside of the Earth? And quite a few of them are right here on the surface. And while it may seem that the environment was designed for humans, thanks to evolution, it's actually humans that are designed for the environment.
Right? Think about the rain, how the process comes from the ocean, and it cycles into the air, fills the clouds, rains down onto the mountaintop, forms glaciers, erodes the earth, creates rivers, streams. All life just builds upon that.
Sure, you can say it appears as if someone intelligently designed such a perfect system. However, everything you just said is nothing more than the chemical properties of water exposed to the natural processes of the Earth. Let's say in the future we find ourselves on Earth 2.0, and it has an environment that's analogous to the environment on Earth 1.0. Well, if that's the case, then we should expect to see evidence of the same processes on Earth 2.0.
You know, it's interesting too. I've been watching some things on the internet, and what we still have left, right? That isn't corporate, state-owned media that's been programmed to the top to deceive us from the real truth.
Well, there you go, guys. Every conspiratard idiot's favorite crutch. The mainstream media is hiding the real truth. The only real problem I have with people saying this is if the mainstream narrative is false, then how come you guys can't provide any evidence to refute it? It's almost as if you're admitting defeat without saying that you lost, but by just saying that you were never in a position to win. The thing is, if you guys had any actual evidence, then it would be you who controls the narrative.
You know, there hasn't been a single darn conspiracy that I've ever researched that hasn't become fact.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? While there are conspiracy theories that do get exposed as truth with facts, most conspiracy theories are false. In fact, most conspiracy theories contradict each other at a fundamental level. For instance, you won't find many true young Earth creationists that are also true flat earthers. So which conspiracy is right? Is the Earth a 6,000-year-old ball that space revolves around? Or is the Earth a 6,000-year-old disk and space doesn't exist? So anyone claiming to be a conspiracy theorist, like Christopher Green, and also claiming that every conspiracy they look into turned out to be true, like Christopher Green, is a fucking idiot, like Christopher Green.
But back to the scientists, right? The goo exploded and created this intelligent universe. They don't think it's intelligent, but it just came from nothing.
But that doesn't make any sense at all, because the universe is not intelligent. Intelligence is loosely defined as a cognitive ability that helps something take information in from the environment around it and develop new knowledge and skills. The universe does not develop new knowledge and skills from itself, therefore the universe is not intelligent. And if scientists say that the universe began with an explosion, which they don't, of goo, which again, they don't, then why do you keep saying that scientists say that the universe came from nothing? It seems to me that you have absolutely no idea what the scientific consensus is regarding the creation of the universe. Christopher Green, you are an idiot.
In fact, it's such a miracle. It would be like nature, a tornado rolling through like a forest and then building an automobile, right?
Wrong. That would be like saying that we have a bunch of human body parts laying around and a tornado came through and assembled a perfect human being. That's not what evolution is. Evolution is a step-by-step process of tiny changes to your DNA that give you an advantage or disadvantage when it comes to reproduction. In other words, we didn't start off as fully developed human beings, you idiot.
Just kind of running through as this wild nothingness with no consciousness, just at random.
Maybe this idiot just doesn't get it, because he believes that an intelligent observer must be present for evolution to work, or that the evolutionary process itself must be aware of the species that it's trying to evolve. But that's not how evolution works. A small random mutation occurs for whatever reason and without the need to be observed. And if this mutation gives an individual a reproductive advantage in his species, then more of his genetics will be passed on to future generations, including the random mutations.
Spinning on the alleged ball that is the planet, even though a lot of people think it's flat because they think we have a flat Earth. Get to that in a moment.
Oh, please do. Because it would make total sense that you're not just a science denier, but that you're also a flat earth idiot too.
And then all of a sudden it created the intricacies and the intelligent design of things like cells. Even when you look at it from a microscopic level, you see a cell has all these moving different parts, proteins synthesizing, mitochondria, all these different elements of a cell, hundreds and hundreds of different elements and protons and neutrons moving away. And if they didn't move around in that very specific form, then life wouldn't exist at all. So the example of a tornado rolling through and then assembling a Boeing 747 randomly in the middle of a forest, as insane as that sounds, that's actually what they've sold the American people.
Again, this is not how evolution works. First, the cellular structures of today are not the same cellular structures for the first life on Earth. And with our best understanding, we believe that most modern cells evolved from prokaryotic cells. Now, as far as your claim about them moving around and arranging themselves in the precise order that they do, well, that's just the product of having billions of years to perfect your internal structure. Because before this cell structure was what it is today, it had a different configuration, and yet it was still able to do all the work that it needed to do. It was only when a different configuration of the cellular structure allowed the cells to not just survive with the other cells, but to thrive better than the other cells in their same environment, that the cellular structure would begin changing as a whole. In this example, we have bacteria introduced into a large petri dish with different levels of antibiotics, at specific distances from the edge. As the bacteria approaches a boundary, it is temporarily stopped until a mutation develops that allows the bacteria to survive in the harsher environment. Same thing happens at the next level, and finally the bacteria will evolve enough to survive in even the highest concentration of antibiotics. This is evolution on a very short time scale.
The biggest, arguably, and greatest cover-up in world history. They say you're a monkey because one man, a scientist who followed scientism, named Charles Darwin, who was also a Freemason, said so.
Well, not necessarily. Science is in agreement that evolution is a fundamental process, and we should expect to see it across the universe. Because if a system has the means to improve itself, it will improve itself through one of several different selection methods. We even see evidence of evolution emerging in places you would never expect to see it, like our commerce, our industry, and our technology. And while Darwin's theories have been improved upon, the scientific consensus believes the evidence does support Darwin in general. But no one in the scientific consensus says that we're monkeys, you idiot.
In fact, they never explain all these holes in the gap. So let me give you an example. If we evolved from, let's say, goo, and then we turned into fish, how did the fish later develop wings? How did the fish turn into frogs?
So I'm going to let Mr. Garrison from South Park explain this rather eloquently.
And it goes something like this. In the beginning, we were all fish, okay? Swimming around in the water. And then one day, a couple of fish had a retard baby. And the retard baby was different, so it got to live. So retard fish goes on to make more retard babies. And then one day a retard baby fish crawled out of the ocean with its mutant fish hands, and it had butt sex with a squirrel or something and made this retard frog squirrel. And then that had a retard baby, which was a monkey fish frog. And then this monkey fish frog had butt sex with that monkey, and that monkey had a mutant retard baby that screwed another monkey, and that made you. So there you go. You're the retarded offspring of 5 monkeys having butt sex with a fish squirrel. Congratulations.
Okay, never mind. So that was a bad example. So let me explain the evolutionary process in a way that anyone can understand. Let's start with a species of fish. Now this fish eats, breeds, and lives completely in the water. Now a few of these fish develop a mutation that allows them to take oxygen from the air instead of the water. We'll call these fish amphibious fish. So for these new fish that are now amphibious, they have a new ecosystem to live in, eat in, and breed in. And this new ecosystem provides new selective pressures that guide the evolutionary process. Now that there's a new set of selective pressures for the amphibious fish, the process of evolution will begin to develop new useful traits like limbs and get rid of old useless traits like fins. Keep in mind, this mutation will occur for both amphibious fish and non-amphibious fish. However, the mutation will only be beneficial for the amphibious fish. So while the mutations for amphibious fish will turn fins into better limbs, the mutations for non-amphibious fish will turn fins into better fins, one mutation at a time.
How come there are no fossils of the in-between the fish and the frog? Shouldn't there be like fossils of a fish frog?
Oh my God, you're such an idiot. Let me introduce you guys to the mud skipper. The mud skipper is a fish that's also amphibious, but it's not an amphibian, it's a fish. While it can breathe air and go out onto land, it must return to the water to rid its body of the ammonia buildup that occurs while outside of the water. Several of the mud skippers have developed ways of extracting the ammonia from their bodies without the need to return to water. In other words, a particular set of mud skippers are beginning to have the ability to completely convert to land animals. At that point, they will no longer be considered fish, but something else, as that mud skipper would no longer meet the criteria needed to be considered a fish. But there would be no transitionary mud skipper fish fossils. There would only be mud skipper fossils that are slightly different physiologically than other mud skipper fossils.
The transitionary period from a fish to a frog or a fish to a bat? How did they develop wings? Where are the fossils? Why are there no fossils?
This is just completely incorrect, and Christopher Green is an idiot. There are many transitional forms that we know of in the fossil record. One example is the evolution from, and forgive me if I pronounce these wrong, from the land-based Pakicetus to the ocean-locked gray whale. Now, there's a problem with saying that the gray whale came from the Pakicetus, and it lies in where the nostril lies on the skull. In the Pakicetus, the nostril's more at the front of the mouth, where with the gray whale, the nostril's located on top of the skull. It wasn't until the discovery of the Adiocetus that we found the missing link that showed us how the nostrils evolved from the front of the skull with the Pakicetus to the top of the skull with the gray whale. Okay, so I think this is going to be where we end part 1 of the video. I originally intended on going further into the video for the first part, but from this point moving forward, he really only talks about the flat earth and his personal journey to becoming a flat earth idiot. And I feel like that probably needs its own video. But don't worry, the idiot count is not going to reset. Since both parts of the video come from the same source video, we'll just have a total sum of dings at the end of the second video. Now I'd like to take the time out to thank Christopher Green for leaving up his flat earth video long enough for me to grab it, before finally following the advice of probably everyone who cares about him and deleting it. And like they probably told you, Christopher Green, you are a fucking idiot. Alright guys, so you made it to the end of part 1, and now you want a piece of part 2. Well, fortunately for you, you won't have to wait too long, as I've already started producing it. So be on the lookout for part 2 over the next few days, unless we're already in the future, and in that case, just click that box up there or follow the link in the description. Either way, thanks for watching. And if you found this video educational or entertaining at all, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. A massive shout out to all of my channel members and patrons whose support helps me keep doing what I love to do. I'm truly grateful. I'm Father Skeptic, and I'm out.